Well. Good afternoon, folks. It is the 24th on a new project. Check out my view. Looks like somebody's going to be bringing a fishing pole this week. Anyway, this big house. I got to paint it. Floors just got done. I'd have done it, but I was on another project. Didn't have time. We got to get this one underway. But I get the full paint job on this one. Bedrooms, closets, walls, trim, everything. I want to show y'all something as getting started in this. I'm actually taking all the plates, pulling the doorknobs off the doors. You know, all the hardware comes off when I paint it. I don't paint around doorknobs. I take that off. I do it right. Let me show you something. What you got here? You see how loose this is? I'm gonna pull this off. And if you're an electrician and you wire up houses this way, understand, you suck. You're not an electrician. And this is my #1 cause of faulty electrical problems that I gotta deal with properties, with outlets going bad or switches going bad. You know, they always say time is money, so guys are trying to save time. But what we got going on is I take this cover off. I want you to look. You see how loose this is? Now, see these screws? There's no wires on these screws on either side. It's a good thing it's a plastic box and not a metal box, because as it shifts, if that was a metal box, it would probably short out. It'd ground out, especially if the neutral side touched this, you'd be okay. But if that brass screw right there, your hot side, that touches a metal box. Normally the old style metal boxes were grounded out. As soon as that touched, it would create an arc and you could potentially have a fire. What these idiots are doing, and they should ban this. Any electrician that wires up receptacles and switches like this, you should be fired. You should be held liable when a house burns down. What they do is they wire it up with 14.2, which nowadays everything should be 12, not 14. But they're saving money and it's code. You can wire it up with a 14. But you can't really see back there. But there's holes in the back of these receptacles. Just big enough for a 14.2 wire. So what they do is they stab them. They cut them back just a little bit, about that much, and they stab it in the back of the receptacle. Now, you're supposed to leave about 6-8 inches of wire so that you can fold it up and stick it back in the box. That way, if you have to service this outlet, you pull it out, you have room to service it. If there's any shorts or anything like that, you got enough to cut off and reestablish connection. What these people do is they take these wires and they stab them right in the back of the receptacle. Now, and this is a new house, keep in mind, it's probably a $200,000 house. As you use this outlet, it moves. You pull something, put something in, you pull something out. As it's moving, it's loosening up those wires. And the rule of electricity and terminating wires, connections, loose wires start fires. This is a potential fire hazard right here. This should be against the law. Because not only is this a new house, like I said, you have a loose receptacle and wires stabbed in the back. If I don't adjust this, which I'm not going to take out all these receptacles and devices in this house and we rewire them around these screws. What I am going to do though is tighten these screws up. These little wings right here. If it's done right, these wings will touch the sheetrock and stop, just like it is up top. See, all you have to do is screw this in, tighten it up, and now, well, let me tighten that one up some more. Goodness. You want to tighten it up to where the receptacle doesn't move. Don't stick stuff in the box like I just did, unless you know what you're doing. Now that receptacle, don't move. I have to do that to every device in this house. Every single one of them is going to have to be tightened up. Because this whole bedroom, I've had to go and tighten up. Every single one of them. I hadn't done the switches yet, but I'm sure if I come up here and see how loose that is? No wires on the screws. Why would they put screws there if they didn't want you to terminate the wires? Instead, if you look back there, they just stabbed them right in the back. You put the screws on the ground lugs, tighten that up nice and neat. You just had 2 more screws to do on each device, each switch. It's knuckleheads. I appreciate it because it generates more work for me. It costs me a little bit of time to go back and do it. And half the time in a house like this, I don't charge for the stuff like that. But it's stuff that I feel I have to point out. Just do your job, do it right. It's that simple. Anyhow, folks, I'm about to get started. I ain't gonna discuss the madness that's going on with these goofballs and what they're doing. It's amazing. I'm gonna get this place prepped and ready to paint. I'm gonna work real hard and get ahead because it looks like old Joe's got him a fishing day coming up. Look at that little pond. I'm gonna tear him up. Anyhow, folks, y'all be safe.